This year, Brave Faces UK will train 10,000 rounds. That's 28 rounds per day for 365 days to raise awareness of mental health illness. Every day, 12 men take their own life through suicide. That's 84 men a week, more than 4,300 a year. And we need to show those who are fighting a daily battle that we are ready to lace up our gloves and fight with them. Please support Challenge 10,000.
Hello and welcome to the Spartans Boxing Show. I'm Lakey and I'm joined today. We haven't got Mr. Me Too with us today because he's such a big celebrity now. He's off doing interviews of his own. But I've got my trusty co-host, Mr. Steve Trendle. Hello, Steve. You all right?
I'm great. You okay, guys?
All good. And our special guest today is Mr. Trevor Abraham from Brave Faces UK. Hello, Trevor. Welcome to the show. And how are you?
All good. Evening, guys.
Brilliant. And before we go any further, I must say, obviously, we're still at the Spartans Boxing Show and we're still boxed. We're still sponsored. So I've had too many drinks, I think. We're still sponsored by Round One Boxing in Brighton, www.roundoneboxinguk.com. And if you can use the code Spartans10 to get a discount on all of their boxing equipment. So now that bit's out of the way and I've been totally tongue-tied. But welcome to the show, Trevor. It's a pleasure to have you on. You're doing a lot of great work around mental health awareness at the moment. And, we've been backing you with that on social media. And I've seen, you're doing fantastic work. So we thought it was about time we get you on the show so people can get to know a little bit about you and find out what it is you're doing and why you're doing it.
Awesome. Just first of all, guys, thanks so much for all the support that you've given us so far. We're on day 76, I believe, today of the Challenge 10,000. The aim of the challenge is to train the equivalent of 28 3-minute boxing rounds every day for 365 consecutive days, which takes just over 10,000. There's a little bit of wiggle room and a bit of flex, but it takes us just over 10,000 rounds for the year. I've done sort of mental health fundraising and events before, starting with a rugby event that was twinned with cycling, and then moved on to boxing this year. Boxing's more my kind of interest level. And I was shocked to read during the cycle. It was during the cycle we just got to Gloucester or Worcester, I think, at the end of the first day, and I read that there were over 10,000 apps through Android and iOS that claim to help men with their mental health state or claim to give them some kind of coaching, life coaching, whatever it may be, psychotherapy, counseling. And I thought 10,000 is a really good, big, round number. So let's do something around 10,000.
Didn't set the target too high then?
No.
And when you started out on this quest, did you weigh about 17 stone and you've shrunk down very rapidly from doing all this training? Or
I was really lucky. The challenge was supposed to start on the 1st of May 2020, but as we all know, that year kind of disappeared for many of us. So I was lucky enough to have a really good 6-7 month lead into this, and we were faced with a decision at Christmas of last year whether to kick the challenge off and go for it with all the current restrictions and regulations that are around, or to wait until everything had opened up again. And the decision was taken to just go for it because everybody's having to live in these crazy times. Everybody's mental health is being affected. We've lost contact and touch with our family, with our work colleagues. We've lost the ability to exercise as we may have done, whether that be, a game of five-a-side on a Friday night or a decent standard amateur football on a Saturday or rugby or whatever it may be. So we decided that if everybody else is struggling with it, we're going to struggle as well. And we're going to be inventive and we're going to come up with new ways of getting the rounds done every day. So here we are, day in the mid-70s. Gyms still aren't open, and we're still having to be very inventive with how we get the rounds done.
Trevor, I'm interested to understand how you first got involved with this. I mean, you know, who contacted you to start, I don't know, this journey, if you like.
So it's a decision I took myself, Steve. I'd been involved with other sort of mental health charity events with the cycle and what have you. And I met so many amazing people. And I also met so many people who were from the same background as me, you know, from appeared to be highly confident, highly motivated guys, professional, on a good salary with a good job and a nice family. And behind it, there's huge cracks in everybody's life and huge cracks in everybody's mind. And off the back of the cycle last year, we decided to launch the community interest company, which is now Brave Faces UK.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal to the end of this challenge will be to raise enough awareness in the next 7 months that we've got left to open up a small unit, a small safe space where guys and young men can come for, you know, a place of security, a place of safety, a place for something to eat, a brew if it's needed, a place to exercise, something along those lines that just keeps the legacy of the effort that we're putting in, that it keeps it going.
A lot of women obviously find it easier to open up, and mental health is quite a big topic of conversation, especially in these sort of times of the pandemic, etc. But you know, from your perspective, Trevor, why do you think men struggle so much to open up? You know, what's the barriers that you believe stop them from saying, "Hey, I've got a problem. I need some help"?
I think it's a historical mindset, Steve. My father used to say to me, if you're a bloke, you only cry at a wedding or a funeral, and that's it. And you cry until somebody else starts crying next to you, and then you stop because you've got to be stronger than they are. And I think that's it. Men have always been seen as the stronger part of the relationship, the stronger part, the breadwinner, whatever it might be. And there's always been a stigma attached to a guy who actually puts his hand up and says, you know what? I'm not okay. I've reached my limit. I've reached my threshold and I need some help. Now, there's been a number of high profile stars, sports stars, people from film and television, radio, who've put their hand up. And that's starting to change things now. I had a discussion yesterday with a young gent on the other show that we did yesterday, who wasn't aware that within 5 miles of his home, there were 7 or 8 mental health support groups just for guys. So it's another way. We need to get the message out that yes, we are strong fellas, but we do need a bit of help. You know, we do need to be able to put our hands up. And when we put our hands up, we need to know where to look. Because it's okay putting your hand up and saying, I'm not all right. But then we need to signpost people, signpost ourselves, even if it's us, to the right help.
Definitely. And are you finding that the campaign's now gaining traction? I mean, there's been lots. I see obviously you're getting a lot of boxers involved, you know, and you've got Carly Skelly, who's a big friend of ours, you know. I know she's well behind the campaign, and you even had a video message just the other day from Ricky Hatton, and I know there's been other boxers involved. So what are you trying? Are you trying to get more and more sort of professionals and ex-professionals involved in the campaign to get the message out there, to get it to resonate with people?
Absolutely. And we when we first looked at this, we made a very conscious decision that this just isn't about the big name professional fighter. This isn't about the guy who retired and had nowhere to go. This is about looking after the next generation of fighters especially in the pandemic at the moment, there are currently more boxers than there are fights available.
Mm.
So give it a year, 2 years, 3 years, there's going to be guys who were put on the shelf. And there could well be a legacy mentally, emotionally, from a confidence factor from that. So, yeah, I mean, so far, in the 4 months we've been doing this, I think we're just under 100 support videos, which is pretty amazing. And every single person we speak to now is putting us in touch with 2 or 3. Those 3 will put us in touch with another 8 or 10. And we've got support from over 60 gyms in the UK that have said to us, the minute that they are open, we are free to train with them.
Wow. So at the moment, where are you doing all your training now? Then, obviously, I mean,
the majority of it's been done in the garden at the moment.
I was going to say you're doing it from home in this blooming lockdown.
Yeah, and I've literally just come out of 10 days isolation from a work trip to Italy. So then again, you've got to get even more inventive with what you're doing. So yeah, it's heavy bag work and circuits and skipping in the garden at the moment. But as soon as the gyms are open, we're ready to go.
Who else is doing the rounds as well with you? Is there a number of you that are actually partaking in this number?
Absolutely not. I am on my own.
Oh
wow! So you're doing it? Oh, sorry, my apologies. I presume there were maybe a couple of people doing it.
No.
Yeah, I was the same. I thought, oh, well, there must be sort of half a dozen of you doing it. The fact that you're doing it all on your own, Trevor, that's outstanding.
Yeah, again, when we first started the challenge, we opened it up and we got a load of response, especially from amateur clubs who've got young kids, and we sort of said, okay, the 28 rounds takes an hour and 51 if you want to be precise. Let's get a group of kids in for the first 7 and split it up into 4 sections, and we'll do it all together. So those plans are still there. And there's a number of pros who've offered to hold the pads for 6 or 7 rounds. Hat and boxing are involved. A lot of it centers around sort of the Manchester fight scene. But we have got stuff all over the UK.
No wonder your fitness is looking pretty good at the moment, Trevor.
Honestly, so the last 3 days we made. I didn't make a decision to do it. I just thought on Monday, can I do more than 28? And what would happen if I was ill for a day? What would happen if, God forbid, something happens and I can't train for the day? What's the maximum I can do? So for the last 3 days, we've pushed it out to 34 rounds. So we're building in more flex. But what we're also doing is we're also showing to people that if you make yourself a specific, measured, achievable, realistic goal, you can always push it. You can always push it further. And yes, sometimes when you're 29 rounds in and you only need to do 28, but you've still got 5 left, there is that little demon on your shoulder that just says, oh, you've done enough for today. But we just press on.
Brilliant.
That's commendable. I really respect what you're doing, Trevor. Top effort.
So even though obviously the end goal is to make a safe space for people, for the men with mental health illness, how are you raising money at the moment, or is it literally you're doing this purely for the awareness side of it?
So we're doing it for awareness at the moment. I think the plan was the initial plan was to do each milestone round, so the 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in a particular place or a particular location or with a particular pro and start working. But I think we've now reached enough traction that we can launch a Just Giving page or something along the back of that now. I was going to wait until 3,000, and I think I probably will wait for 3,000. So we've done 2,100. I think we can probably spend the next month marketing a Just Giving page, and then we can launch it with the 3,000.
How have you? I'm interested to understand how have you managed to get these relationships with these boxers and these people and these gyms? I mean, have you been doing all that yourself as well?
Yeah, so it's all legwork. Yeah, it's all email, it's Instagram, it's all social media. You know, you guys know better than most people now. Without connectivity in this modern climate, we don't exist. We don't succeed as a business. We don't succeed as anything. So yeah, it's legwork. It is legwork.
Have you sort of just gone across the strategy of it's a numbers game? I'll just send the emails out, I'll send the messages out, and hopefully people come back to me. And if they don't, I'll move on to the next people. Is that kind of how your mindset's been?
Yeah, everybody gets 2 chances. So there's an introductory email. There's one 3 or 4 weeks after. Some are a little bit quicker. There are people that have promised a video or promised something and they don't come. But we've got a big list of people with, I think there's over 500 names on it, and we keep chipping away. And like I say, some of the people that we emailed right back at the very beginning are now coming on board because of a connection. Carly Skelly, for example. Carly's got us two this week. And one of the guys we spoke to right at the very beginning had forgotten all about us. So as we gain more traction, more people come on. And hopefully, the more we raise the profile and the more we raise the awareness then.
So what does good look like to you then, Trevor? And you know, I know you sort of said that you're going to launch a Just Giving's page and stuff like that. But do you have like a sum of money in mind that you want to kind of get to? Do you have a number of people that you want to be able to reach out to? You know, you mentioned this centre as well that you want to have eventually. But you know, if we say in a year's time, you know, where do you think Brave Faces is going to be in terms of your perspective?
I'm hoping that in a year's time, Brave Faces will be providing a safe space for men and young adults to come and communicate and talk and spend time with each other, which is something as blokes we just don't do. We don't do it. We stay behind a door, or we don't communicate well, blokes. Somebody asked me yesterday what would be the perfect ending to this challenge, and the perfect ending for me would be a phone call, an email, a text, whatever it might be, word of mouth from one person that said, "You know what, mate, you've made a massive difference in my life." That'd be it. It's one. It sounds like a huge amount of effort, 10,000 rounds, but at the end of the day, there are tens of thousands of men up and down the UK that are struggling every single day. That I spoke to a guy yesterday who doesn't want to get out of bed. People who can't leave the house. People who are afraid of the changing routine. Don't want to go on public transport because of how it's changed. So if we can show, and I did this as a fight community, and we have broken out. We've broken out into MMA. We've broken out into BKB. We've broken out into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with support. We've broken out into Jumbo Johnson and Jamie Sheldon, cut men, hand wrappers. We're breaking out all over the entire fight family. And if we can show one single person that we're behind them and that we want to make a difference in their life, then the job's done.
Are you, forgive me for not knowing, but I'm guessing, are you a registered charity, or if not, are you looking to become one?
So at the moment, we're a community interest company at the moment. And we've just got our registration through. And we are looking to become a registered charity. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
So if I'm let's just say if I'm sitting there, Trevor, and I'm thinking, like, I'm really struggling at the moment. I'm at a real low point. how do we contact you? You know, how does Mr. Joe Blogs contact you for that support?
So at the moment we're running our social media campaigns through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I can send you all the details for those. And we're also partnering now with a local mental health support centre, which is local to us here in Lancashire, which is called PH7, and they have access to counsellors, psychotherapists, nurses, addiction coaches. So we're starting now to signpost people across to the right places. And I'm also now just about to finish. I was just doing it as before we came online. I'm just finishing a diploma in psychotherapy and counselling. So hopefully we'll be able to start providing our own services.
Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. That is, Trevor. Absolutely brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. And just another quick question before we let you go, because I'm conscious of the time for you. But if you know, what's the next stage? Obviously, you're saying you want safe spaces. So once you've completed your challenge, you know, at the end of the year, whenever that may be, you got your say, are you going to carry on with this? You know, you're going to do another challenge and another challenge, or is it just going to be? Are you hoping to get more people involved?
No, we're gonna do something else. We're definitely gonna do something else next year. Whether we can raise the number might be another factor. I'm getting a little bit older, but we are definitely going to do something again next year. We'll pick another big sport, or we'll pick another big activity, and we will do something definitely. And it'll again open for people to jump in on, open for support, because this battle against the black dog of mental health that people struggle with, it's not going to go away. We're in immensely challenging times for everybody.
Definitely.
And if we're all going to come out of this together stronger at the end of it, then we've got to support each other. And that can be as simple as picking the phone up or sending a text, or just putting your hand up and saying, you know, I'm not okay.
Fantastic. Well, that's a great message to leave us with, Trevor. And, you know, kudos for all the work you're doing, the awareness you're raising, getting all these people involved. I mean, before we let you go, is there a way that, is it just Brave Faces UK that people can contact you on social media? Have you got is there any social media sort of contact addresses you want to share quickly before we let you go? Yeah, sure. So on Facebook, we're Brave Faces UK. And on Instagram, we are Brave Faces 7478. That's fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Trevor. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you and hear about all the great work you're doing. Good luck with it all. And obviously, we at Sportanarium will continue to support you as much as we can. And we look forward to seeing how the challenge progresses. And thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, and good luck.
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. Anything you need, anytime, just give us a shout and we'll do what we can to support you. Thanks for your time, gents, and thanks for the support. Have a great night.
No worries. Thank you. Take
Cheers,
care.
mate.
So you've been listening to the Spartan Show. I'm Lakey. Contact co-host Steve. We've had the lovely Trevor Abraham with us from Brave Faces UK, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks very much.
Take care.
Cheers.